Alright, so I thought I'd do a quick video today. This is just my third season bow hunting, my fourth season hunting altogether. In the first season, I didn't even hunt really by myself. I just kind of sat in my brother-in-law's stands because I didn't know anything about it. So I've been kind of learning as I go. And last season I shot a pretty good buck, and I had to drag it out about 2 miles. And the reason I know is because that morning going in on my Hunt Stand app, I clicked the trace feature so that it would trace how far I was going in and where I was going to, because I knew I was going way out to a spot that I hadn't been to, but I hadn't hunted before. I just kind of scouted it a little. So I shot this buck and I drug it back, and then I started dragging about 10 o'clock, and it took me till after 1 to get this thing back to the truck, and it tore my hands all to pieces dragging, holding on to that antler all the way. And I was switching hands and trying to use straps that I had in my bag to wrap around it to help, and they were cutting into my hands. And I thought, I'm not buying no expensive game cart, because I mean, think about it. If you have a game cart and you shoot one and you're that far out, you still got to walk all the way back to the truck, get the cart, go all the way back to where you're at, then come all the way back out again. And essentially that ends up being like 4 trips. And I'm not willing to do that at 2 miles one way. So, and then I thought, well, you don't want to drag that heavy, or you don't want to drag a cart out there every time anyway. Because if you don't shoot anything, then you're just dragging a cart around for the heck of it. And so this was my solution. This is what I come up with. I had this 10mm static climbing rope left over from when I ordered it earlier in the season to do the aiders on the bottom of my hawk sticks, and I actually ended up making a lineman's belt out of this too. But this was all I had left after that, so I just threw it in my toolbox and hadn't thought anything else about it. And then after I tore my hands up on that deer, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make something. Because the dragging part didn't really bother me. It was okay. It was just it tore my hands all to pieces. And so all this is a piece of 3/4 inch plumbing PEX pipe. That flexible stuff's supposed to swell if it freezes or whatever. But anyway, I just run the rope through there, tied me a knot right here so it wouldn't move or go anywhere. And then all I do is slide all of this junk. So you wrap it around the deer's antler or the doe's neck or whatever, and you just slide everything through that pre-sewn eye that's in the end of it, and then just cinch it down, and you could drag all day like that. And that right there is not going to tear your hand up at all. It's going to be pretty easy on your hand, and it's going to work. You know what I mean? And it's a really cheap alternative to an expensive deer cart, and then having to think about dragging or carting the deer cart itself in and out, even if you don't need it, And then this right here, I can take this and just, that's how big it is. Doesn't weigh anything. I can throw it in my backpack. It's always with me, and I've always got it. And so I thought, I'm sure there's tons of people thought about stuff like this, and tons of people have stuff like this. And I know they sell little cinch deer drags and stuff, but I looked at them and I thought, why in the world would you pay for something like that when you can make it out of next to nothing? You can go to the Dollar Tree and get some rope and make you something, something big enough to drag a deer out with, because it doesn't have to be anything crazy strong just to drag a deer out. I just happened to have this 10mm rope left over, and so I thought, man, that'd make a good deer drag. So anyway, that's what I came up with. I thought maybe it might help somebody else out and keep them from spending a bunch of money on a deer cart if they don't have the money, or just like me, just don't want to spend the money on it. Don't see the value in it or the sense in it when you can come up with something like this. And this is a good kind of public land thing where I'm at. You can't use four-wheelers anyway, so you don't have a choice but to walk. And I don't always hunt that far back, but that particular day I did. I went way back in there trying out this new spot, and it paid off. But like I said, I learned a very important lesson. I won't hunt without this anymore. So that always stays in my bag, and that was just something I thought I'd pass along. Maybe it might help somebody else out. Anyway, that's where we're at for today. Thanks.